All right, welcome to another episode of the Real Shots of 56. This is Evening Crypto. Tonight, I just want to make a quick update, give you guys a quick update on Bitcoin, the charts. We'll go over a little bit of some altcoins just to take a look. Although they're all doing pretty much the same thing as Bitcoin, they're all pretty much joining in the recent run of Bitcoin from the high 8,000s all the way up to these levels. So we'll do a quick recap and then we'll get into the charts. We'll talk about some altcoins. Altcoins, and let me know down in the comments if you guys would like me to cover any specific altcoin, anything that you guys are into, or even a stock. I've been watching some stocks lately, like Tesla, for example, just going on a massive run again. It's now over $600 per share. That's insane. That's pretty crazy. And I want to give my bet to a one of these stocks. If you guys want to hang on to the end of the video, I am going to give you pretty much my take on which stock, couple of stocks you should be watching for that I think are going to do great this year. All right, so let's take a look at the market. It's currently sitting at $261 billion for the complete entire market cap, $121 billion for 24-hour volume. This is pretty healthy, pretty amazing, and very active volume, and a lot of it has been, a purchasing. A lot of it has been buyers coming into the market. I mean, just look at this here. Just by looking at this graph here real quick, this is indicative that there's more buyers than sellers. That's really all that's happening there. Although we do seem to have come to somewhat of a halt or a top. I do think we might be forming a local top. If we'll get into that here in just a second, but reminder to follow me on Twitter at the Real Shots 56. Some of you are already doing it, and I want to thank you and shout out to Timmy J. Shout out to a couple of you guys. That's actually Anmel has been a pretty active and has been pretty engaged with us here. Timmy J, like I said, you're always on top of things. So just want to say shout out to you guys. Thanks for following the channel, and let's get right into it. Looking at the charts, this is to me, this is the 4-hour, right? This is looking like a reversal to me. It's this candle right here, where my cursor is at, is pretty indicative of a reversal. This could be like a long-legged doji, or could be like a spinning top or a spinning doji. Either way, these are pretty indicative of a reversal, right? And what do we have after that? We have a nice little red candle forming here. We've got about 30 minutes left on this red candle for it to close. I do think we are going to get continuation to the downside, as again, a lot of things are pointing towards that. We do see a big huge green volume node here, way past and way above the exponential here. Not only that, but if we go back and just trace this sort of buying volume here, we'd have to go back to, when was this? So January 20th. So almost roughly about 10 days. Yeah, about 10 days worth of separation between this node and the last big node, significant buying node here. But and then what do we have? We had sort of a tapering off of the buying volume, and overall, the market was just starting to consolidate around these prices here, around what do we call it? Like, say 8,600, between 8,600 and 8,900, and then we did see that slight dip here, and then we had continuation, not only getting above 8,600, but actually also moving way above 8,900, all the way up to this local high here, which was 95.78, almost 9,600. And I do think we are due for another correction, as we do see here again. High volume, high buying volume here, a lot of green. And then we started to taper off. Nice little correction here. Big sell off here to the tune of about, let's just measure it here real quick, from here to here. It's about 7%, right? Right on these two nodes here. And again, more consolidation until we got squeezed, and then we started to see better or more buyers coming into the market, and they actually push the price up. And again, getting above the exponential. I do anticipate again for a lot of these buyers to sort of taper off and start kind of leaving the market here for a little bit until things cool off and we start consolidating. Where do we consolidate? I think my bet is we're probably going to consolidate within this range here. We are at 9,400. Let's actually, well, actually, I already have a line there that is representative of where we might actually come to a nice bounce here. So we might consolidate again further around this range here between, what is it, 9,200 and where we are currently at 9,400. Maybe some range bound here, maybe some up and down. And then, you know, we'll probably very likely come back and retest 9,500, and then we'll see how it reacts from there. It may actually reject it once more before actually coming back down or coming back up to about 9,800, where we see the next target coming in at on the way up. This, I'm talking about the 0.382 here. It does look, you know, based on the current behavior, again, we are on an actual uptrend. So a couple of things with that. I have been seeing a lot of persistent bears out there on crypto Twitter and social media saying that this is, you know, this is not healthy, this is not a healthy run, blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of buyers here coming in, right? And what makes an uptrend or a bear market? A couple of things to differentiate there, but what makes a bull market, right? So there's more buyers than sellers. That's what's going to make a bull market. We're not in a bull market yet, but we are certainly in an uptrend, right? So what do we need for an uptrend? Again, we need more buyers than sellers, right? The fact that people are calling this not a healthy run, and this is going to end in a catastrophic dip or a downtrend or a bear move or whatever you want to call it. You know, I'm paying attention to you guys, but I'm not really relating to what your message is. I really can't. I'm sorry. And a lot of this, and I'm not. This is not to point any fingers or anything, but a lot of this is coming from the EW or Elliott Wave community. I'm just saying I'm not in agreement with you. I respect you guys. I'm not trying to like point any fingers or point anybody out, but I'm just saying, like, guys, this is an uptrend. Stop trying to short it. I have been pretty active on Twitter, saying that you should be shorting these ranges. You shouldn't be shorting this trend here. And I've given you guys my reasons, but I still see a lot of accounts on crypto Twitter saying that, you know, this is a bear move, bear trend. There's a big nasty downturn coming. I don't believe so. I don't think. I mean, at these points, yeah, certainly. But you know, there's some things that need to happen before we actually, or I actually, you know, start to believe in that. For example, you know, we did have a change in trend based on, you know, if we look at the daily, you know, this will tell us with a little bit more clarity. You know, we're closing significant candles, and if we, you know, on a daily above and right where this previous huge pivot high is, which is very, very significant. And again, that's indicative of not only did we actually do this, right? We broke above this line of resistance, which was huge, because this line of resistance is representative of a trend that was active since the middle of 2019, since June. So the fact that we broke above it, it is significant in itself, right? But not only that, but on a daily, we are actually consolidating above this previous pivot, which is also indicative of another change in trend. I don't think for a minute that we're just going to, you know, turn around, come back, and retest 9,500 only to come back and just give it up, right? I don't think that that's going to happen. This is the midterm analysis. You know, I do think we are going to come back and retest 9,800 right around here at the 0.382. And then we'll see what happens from there, right? If say we do get there, but there's less volume coming in, less buyers, I want to see the volume kind of even par with this node here, or even this node here, or even this node here from the 20th, the 25th. I want to see that same type of buyers coming into the market on a daily basis, on a daily chart. And, you know, if we are to come back and have a healthy retest of 9,800, and then also to kind of paint the picture that, okay, we're probably actually going to come back and retest 10,500. 10,600, right? That's kind of where the next things would be. This is mid-term analysis, right? We want to see that volume come in, and we want to see that healthy continuation on this uptrend all the way up through the 382, all the way up to the 10,500, and then eventually to, this is where I'm kind of ending it, right at 10,005, 10,006, and then we'll reassess from there. But that's kind of what's on the card, right? Daily is also showing that we're about to have a cross to the downside. I do think by tomorrow we should confirm that. We should definitely confirm that. We are going to probably come back and have a cross down, right? So expect that. And then again, I do think a good possible entry would be about 9150, 9200 would be a good entry there. And then we'll see. It should again trade range bound within 90. We'll call it 9250 or 9200 and 9150, something like that. That's kind of where things seem to be going on the more immediate time frames, right? For that, let's actually go back to the 4-hour so we can have a better assessment of that. So yeah, so the shorter term of things, again, we're probably going to come back and consolidate within this range here. That's the short term. More immediate term of things, and then let's actually look at the long term, more of a long term analysis. For that, we will go to our trusty Bitstamp chart, and so there's a couple things I want to talk about here. First of all, again, this change in trend here. Again, this is from the middle of 2019 all the way down to the end of the year. We finally broke out of this range, and now we are upwards bound in an uptrend, and we do see it here. Nice little retest of this previous pivot here, and then continuation to the upside. Again, I do think we're probably going to come back and retest this area around 9,000. There's also a gap fill that is it's not it. Is this it? Yep, CME futures. There's a gap fill that will probably come back and retest here. We'll probably come back and refill eventually here. I don't know if we're going to do it soon. I don't know if we're going to do it now, but I mean, it's within the range, right? It's within that same range that I've been talking about, 9150. The gap seems to be all the way down to 9160, right? So that also makes sense. It's there's a little bit of confluence there too that we can talk about. So there is that to also keep your eyes on. All right, so change in trend here, and then let's talk about the more of a long-term trend, right? So if you guys click on this little link up here on the top of your screen, you will know you guys can go to this previous long-term analysis video that I did a while back. Go to the 11th minute, and then you'll see the analysis that I was talking about of how this might actually play out. We actually got that one right. I mean, although we got front ran a little bit, we didn't quite go back to hit lower 6,000s to 5,900 range, but we certainly came pretty close. I think we got front ran right around, I want to say around 64. 60, yeah, lower end of 6,400, right? And I was kind of showing you something very similar to this, and I actually tweeted about this yesterday, I think. So if you want to check out my Twitter account, you'll see it there. There's a picture of this very similar chart that I'm drawing for you guys right now, and what I think is going on. So this is more of a longer term scenario, where I also gave you guys a target here. So right around, say, I'll be generous. Let's just do it here, 11,450. So I do think, again, we grind ourselves back up to this range here. So from this chart here on the 4-hour, I'm willing to go from this this chart, from this analysis, I'm going all the way up to 10.5, right? That's kind of where the buck stops for me. I don't know that we're actually going to make it all the way up there by looking at this, but then when we look at the longer term of things, you know, there's a little bit of confluence, but then this actually is this chart is a bit more bullish to me. We could actually come back and quite possibly, you know, grind our way up to around 11.5, 11.4, 11, yeah, about 11.5 or so here, somewhere in this range, right? Maybe up here, 11.7, right? Which is that going to come in confluence with anything else? It actually is 11.4. You know, we got plenty of action right back here. So, you know, that is also something that would be in the cards as well. All right. So, again, that is more of a longer term, but we'll see. Again, we need more buyers and sellers to come in. I mean, there's definitely some important pivots along the way up that are going to act as major resistance here. For that, we can start to plot some of those areas there. And then we have this area, which also be pretty significant. We have this area there. We have this area right here. Adjust that tiny bit. There we go. So, I mean, there's going to be plenty of resistance on the way up if we actually want to get to, say, above 11.5 or something close to that. All right. So that is more of a longer term analysis. And again, on the daily, I mean, we've spent this is actually the 4 hour. Even on a 4 hour, we've spent plenty of time here in the bullish control zone. Bulls not wanting to relinquish control, and we may again come back to maybe fill the gap at around 90.60 or 91.60, and then continue the way up. Right, we do have that 21 exponential there acting as support here within the stochastic, and it's pretty high up there within the border of the bullish control zone. So as prices do remain, you know, within this range, this exponential might actually start creeping up a little bit more to meet the exponential here within the stochastic and actually have a nice little bounce and continue upwards. So I would like to see that again if we are to call a move to all the way up to 9,800 in the more immediate time frames. All right. Hopefully all that is making sense for you guys. All right, so this is our Bitstamp chart, right? And of course, this is a big line of support that's coming in from, gosh, where's it coming in from? From the bottom here in December of 2018, right? So pretty significant. Again, we got front ran here, but to me, you know, and you guys, if you've been following the channel long enough, you know that I've been calling it on Twitter, calling it on this channel that this was the bottom of this move. And very likely we were going to have a change in trend from there. Change in trend from there. And you know, you guys know that I was talking about this for quite a while now. All right, so let's go back to the daily. What happened to my stochastic? Whoa! I don't know what happened to my stochastic. I don't want to go back and replot it, but anyway. That is the longer term analysis. Let me know what you guys think. If you are in agreement or if you think I'm full of shit, definitely let me know down in the comments. If you guys want to maybe look at something else, point something else out, definitely, again, let me know. And we'll talk about it down in the comments. All right, let's actually get into some altcoins and do a little real run through on some traditional market stuff. We did have a nice correction here, back down to 32. What is this? 32.34, and then having somewhat of a nice reaction here. We'll see how things continue tomorrow within the S&P and S&P and Nasdaq and traditional markets. Gold has actually been also pretty good. It does look like it wants to break out. We did have a failed breakout here, though, more of a fake out. We'll see tomorrow. There's still a chance, I think, for gold to actually have a nice breakout. And that will also be partly depending on what happens here with traditional markets, with equity markets. If we do stay stagnant here, perhaps continue to trade downwards, then gold is probably going to take that as an opportunity to actually do breakout here, have a nice little breakout here. I have entered into gold since I do see a little bit of hesitation within traditional markets. So I did enter a small trade within gold, and there's plenty of gold backed equities trades that you can do. So just look for gold, and there's a bunch of stuff that will come up for you guys. The other trade that I'm really interested in is a Boeing, right? So Boeing on a daily, still having all sorts of issues, right? But still hanging on to this range. This is, we didn't actually break through this previous pivot low here. So my guess is that Boeing is actually going to fix their issues right now with everything that's been going on. I do think that they are going to have. I do think that they're going to figure stuff out, and they are actually going to. Again, figure this out and get things back on track. So this could be something that could be going on. So here we go. All right, so something like this on a downward channel. And these things usually tend up to, especially in traditional markets, they're a little bit more, I guess, reliant. Is that a word? We can rely on this sort of formation to actually play out. So this is also already looking like a bull flag, right? And this is also already looking like it wants to come back and retest this descending line of resistance, kind of like we did see with Bitcoin for that long-term trend, right? If we go back here, right, and we do see this downtrend again, same kind of thing, eventually breaking out is sort of what I'm expecting again, because again, with equity markets, traditional markets, these things are pretty reliable. This does look sort of a bull flag or descending, what do you call this? Squeezing wedge, or why does the word escape me right now? You know what I'm talking. You know what I'm trying to say here. Narrowing wedge, if you want to call it that. Okay, but it is sort of a bull flag. And again, they're going to get their shit together. Hopefully they're going to start releasing the new updates for their planes, resume production, and which will also have a ripple effect on GE. So don't go to sleep on GE. That is another good possible trade for 2020. And then there is Ford Motor Company. Did I do that one right? Yep, I think I did. No, I didn't do it right the first time. So I do think this is the local low here with Ford. They also recently entered up with a partnership with a company that is focusing on, guess what? Electric vehicles. What is the hottest thing going on happening right now? Tesla. What do they build? Exactly. They build electric cars. And if we go, I'm going to add this to my watch list here, because I do think, again, this will be a good trade for 2020. And then if we go and check out Tesla, there's a lot of things in comments here with all of these stocks that I'm talking about. So Tesla, look at that, $640, right? It broke up from right around here. This was the local bottom. This is when the CFO decided to leave Tesla, and everybody just started selling their Tesla stock. The company seemed to be doing pretty badly from a organizational standpoint, and a lot of fear came into the market. A lot of fearful sellers. But then they released their new truck and all this good stuff, and everything seems to be going very, very well for Tesla. The China trade issue with the U.S. Has also come to sort of a positive resolution, at least for the first phase of the trade argument. Things seem to be going on the up and up. And then what do we have? We have Tesla, just massively breaking out and things working in their favor. These are, again, electric automaker. This is the most, I guess this is the richest automaker in American history, right? Probably world history. Richest American based motor company in America, possibly the world. And look at that. These guys manufacture electric vehicles, not gasoline, not diesel, but electric vehicles. So what do you think might actually happen to Ford? Now that they're officially entering, I mean, definitely they're up against a big competitor in Tesla. But I do think Ford will figure this out. They are one of the solid automakers that did not take money in the bailout. These guys were a bit more fiscally responsible than other automakers, GM, and we're actually we're actually a company that has typically and historically figured things out. I do think, again, this partnership will come to help them and get them out of this sort of chart hell, if you will. All right, so look out for Ford going forward here. All right, so that was it for traditional markets. XRP looking like it does, breaking out, but again, a lot of alts are going to do the same thing. They were, everything was sort of on this descending wedge. If we look at the 4-hour, up against some heavy resistance here, this green line should actually be switched to red. And these are all things that we've plotted before, right, from older videos. So if you want to fact check these things, you can, just go back to my older videos. This is up, so XRP is up against really heavy resistance right around 25 cents. So we'll see if it actually breaks through. Let's actually see the reaction from Bitcoin now having a nice little break. Let's see if it actually can muster up enough momentum to go up here. Again, it's up against the uphill battle because that continuous monthly dumping of their coins into the market. Link, as usual, just being exemplary within this market, just having one of the best reactions from the bottom here, all the way to the top, from this point to right about here, 86% so far. I mean, just massive. I mean, and this is typical Link fashion here. This bottom to this top, 115%. So hopefully you guys are paying attention to Link because it does offer quite a bit of opportunity. At this point, though, it does look like the rally might be over. It is pretty much following with what Bitcoin is doing. There is a possibility, although I doubt that we'll do it right now. There is a possibility it comes back and retests this top here at $3.15, $3.16. And then it actually could come back and just dump heavily right after that, because I mean that could be a double top, especially if you look at the daily from a daily perspective. Could this could be sort of a double top here, and then what happens after that. All right, so that's Link. BNB kind of looking the same thing, looking pretty strong on the daily. It did break out of here. Eventually could come back and retest this previous pivot here. Again, would kind of also resemble double top here around $21.42. Does it actually do that? I don't know, because look at the volume here. Volume has been tamed by the exponential here. Again, if we want to see conviction within this move and actually have a retest of 2150, we want to see the volume actually start to get up above the exponential here continuously, kind of like we did see here, like we did here, like we saw back here. If we actually want to believe in BNB making a nice move. BNB actually doing some good things outside of crypto. So as a company, it's pretty solid. So that could actually happen. I do think the winner of the day, though, within crypto is Litecoin. Litecoin just having a really nice move today. But I mean, from this bottom to this top here, wick and all, about 36% here in the last couple of days. So not too bad. So if you're trading Litecoin, if you're from the Litecoin army or Litecoin, whatever you call yourselves, then you're doing pretty good. You're pretty happy with the way things have gone for you in the last couple of days, few days. All right. So again, I do think that things are looking pretty exhausted, and I do think we're due for a reversal here sooner rather than later. I don't think we're going to come back and retest the lows here at any point soon. There's just too much in between that needs to happen for us to turn around and shift our mindset. But just I do think there's going to be, again, a cool off consolidation period, and then upwards and onwards to retest at least 190, 190, between 190 and 194. We practically retested 190, almost 187.74, right? What was the high there? 187, yeah, $187, $187. So again, a little bit of a cool off, some consolidation, and then retest 194. But everything's looking pretty similar. If you've been paying attention, everything looks pretty similar to that. Let's look at GBTC and see where it closed. I mean, beautiful close here. But then again, we might come back and come back and probably open lower tomorrow for GBTC. If it opens and we have continuation to the upside, guess what? I do think Bitcoin's probably going to follow in that. XLM it's looking like it could break out here. Definitely heavy resistance here. But if we do break above this here, now this is very, very hard to really put your make a real assessment, because look at all these wicks, right? It's just, there's a lot of pumping and dumping here. Pumping and dumping. So I don't trust it. I'm not trusting a breakout here. Not trusting a breakout here with lumens. I wouldn't really want to touch it. If you do, just probably you might want to get out pretty quickly here and just have a little scalp. Have a little fun with it and just enter here and exit there. I wouldn't try to hold on or try to get too nifty with it, if you know what I mean. VET looking pretty dead, although look at this, do like that. Having a nice reaction, not that Bitcoin's taking a break. If we do get above this here, we could also see a potential breakout here above 0.0058. All right. EOS also had a pretty nice day, although it is looking pretty toppish. Look at this hammer candle here. We're about to print another candle right next to it. So sort of a, what is it called? This morning star formation there, which could be indicative of a reversal there. All right. So yeah, I do think this looks pretty much done with the move and come back and retest. We should probably settle somewhere in here, somewhere in between where we are now and $4.09. If you do see a retrace below 409, then we're probably going to head back and retest 394. All right, 393, 394. All right, so that's EOS. But again, everything's looking pretty similar. Waves has just been on a just downward spiral, continuously finding lower lows. Where do we stop? I mean, I'm hoping that this will be the ultimate low here. If we do more of a midterm analysis on this, we can see that it is also on a on a squeezing wedge here, if you will. And I would like to see this come back and puncture above this line of resistance there if we want to enter a trade there. Tesla's also looking pretty good. Again, these coins worry me a bit because you got these really long wicks that are just indicative of a lot of just pump and dump scheming. This is a reversal formation here within this candle here, sort of a hammer candle, followed by a long-legged doji. Looks like, we'll see in the next few minutes. Actually, in the next 5 minutes, we should see where this one closes, but it does look like it's pretty toppish here. Same thing with TRX, not able to really break out. We do see some wicking above, but again, just fake outs more than anything. Fake outs, and then we're probably going to see, because everything else is looking the same and everything is probably heading for a reversal, and I don't anticipate Tron to actually hold or make another run here. I do think that everything is probably going to follow. All right, guys. I think we ran over everything. I think we checked all the boxes today. Let me know if you guys want to hear or see something different that I'm not seeing. Leave it down in the comments, and we shall discuss. All right. Hopefully, you got something in exchange for your time here tonight. I do appreciate you. If you haven't hit the follow button or the subscribe button, I would encourage you to do that now, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks, guys. You all have a great night.